Rogue Record.
What's up, everybody? You're listening to Hustle Makes It Happen, a podcast about the grit, the determination, and the mindset it takes to become a winner. Success is not an accident. It lives outside your comfort zone, in the trenches, where excuses are met by brick walls. So strap in, tighten up, and let's get ready to hustle. What's up, hustlers? Welcome to another episode of Hustle Makes It Happen. Before we break off into this episode, I got JB to my left if you're watching, and if you're listening or watching again, you got Rachel Davidson to my right. So with that, listen, help us grow.
Share the show. Help us grow. Share the show.
That is, man, we are loving every second of this. Every week, we are getting to meet the hustlers out in the world and bringing this content to you guys. And the only way we keep doing this is growing our viewership. That's it. That's how we do it every day. And we're getting some sweet merch coming soon.
Yeah, be on the lookout for that. www.hustlemakesithappen.com is going to be the central hub. The website is up and running. Our store is going to be there. Links to all our podcasts, videos, all our social media channels, all that stuff is going to be plugged in to hustlemakesithappen.com. And that's where you're going to find your hustle merch, gear, shirts, water bottles.
And listen, this isn't no middle of the mall shit. This is quality. This is quality.
It's quality.
This is quality stuff here. So look, today we have an author, a motivational speaker, just a wonderful individual I got to learn a little bit about. It's Rachel Davidson.
Hey, what's up?
What's happening?
Hey, I'm doing awesome. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for coming on. We love touching on every avenue of hustlers, and I got someone actually shared one of your posts. I think that's where I ran across it, and I was like, somebody shared you in your book that you just wrote, and they were talking about how motivational it was for them reading it and finding some key things in their life, and I was like, seems interesting. Click, start reading a little bit about you. I was like, all right, I think this is add friend, dink. And that's where I think this came from.
I love it.
Yep. The ways of the internet, right?
That's
so
it.
I want to break off a little bit and just give a little bio of who you are, a little bit about your story, and tell our viewers just why you're here, why you're a little bit of a hustler.
Why I'm a hustler. I'll try to keep it short. So I was born in the Amazon region of Brazil. My mom is from Louisiana and my dad's Brazilian. So I have a little background with that. Able to speak Portuguese, taught myself Spanish, graduated college with a marketing management degree. Just have so many passions, really. I think I would not want to take up all your airtime here just talking about me, but just a background. Just a few years ago when I was in transition, and the new year was right around the corner, and I was thinking about what can I do that would make my life so amazing if I actually accomplish those particular items. So for one, I said I want to go ahead and finish college. Number two, I want to teach myself Spanish. And number three, I want to eradicate fear out of my life. And making that decision has changed me as a person forever. I am so I wake up excited, and it's genuine. I am so excited about life and just the opportunities that are here in front of our faces. And I'm excited. I wrote my book. I share my stories. I became vulnerable. I just spilled the beans, really, when it comes to what it takes for you to go after your dreams and goals and how to make that happen. So just
That we share a common platform in every way, because that's why we started this show. We talked about it earlier this morning we were on another podcast, and he asked us a simple question. He said, why? And we want to learn more from like-minded, successful people and be vulnerable and put our story out there and listen to other people's stories and take whatever pieces and information and characteristics that we can take out of that. And so far it's been a great ride.
Oh, it's fun. Once you dig in and you start connecting with like-minded people, you realize the common strands that we share together. Me being a girl, right? You guys, we kind of think differently, but at the same time, there are formulas, there are secrets, there are things that all of us. It's universal. If you want success, like if I look at myself, I probably am I have a track record of failing more than anyone else around me. And I pick myself back up and I just brush it off and I keep going. And I think that's something that's common, whether you're in the restaurant business or music industry or real estate. And I mean, really anything. I think that we all have to get in there. And like you're talking about your show, you grind, you have to push harder than anybody else. You have to be the person that works more and so diligent and disciplined above everyone else. And one thing that has, I guess, stood out to me going down this path and journey is I look at it like a race. We're all racing towards this massive end and this goal that we want in life. We all want success. We all want to take care of our families. We all want to be financially independent. We all have these common grounds that we can meet at. But so many people just throw in the towel. All it takes is one little no, just a little bit of resistance, and they quit. And when you look around and you see the people who are rocking it and just are on fire, that group of people gets smaller and smaller the longer you run and you go down this path.
I think a lot of people too, in today's age that you're talking about, the people that are rocking it and that are doing well, I firmly believe they've failed a bunch, but they haven't let it define their success either. They've moved, they've figured, they've navigated it, they've absorbed it, they've went past it, and they also probably they weren't just putting it out to the world. Oh, I failed today. They've taken it in, moved past it. But like you said, I think a lot of people are afraid today.
Oh, of course.
In every way.
Of course. I think that was something that I dealt with that I talk about in my book. I was scared of failing. I was scared of what people would think or say. And when I realized, like, what in the world? Why would I even allow outside influences or people? And it kind of woke me up. It made me snap out of it and say, like, wait a minute. I'm not going to wait until I'm 100 years old and look back and have so many regrets because I didn't have the guts to get out there and just try. Maybe I would fail. Maybe I would end up broke and my bank account would be zeroed out. But at the end of the day, I wanted to look back and say, I have no regrets. I did it. I went after my dreams and my goals. I didn't quit. It wasn't perfect. It's not a beautiful little perfect,
story. Yeah, right.
It's like there's a lot of suffering that goes on behind closed doors. Not everybody sees. I think we put up a front. Especially on social media.
That's right.
But behind closed doors, I mean, we're suffering and we're crying because we're grinding, and it's like it's taken so much longer to reach our success than what we would have wanted.
So what points in your life did you grow up? Were you always that hustler? Did you have these pivot points where you shifted? Was there an awakening moment that you just felt like, man, this is it. I'm taking a right turn here?
I think it's all of the above, really. I mean, I've had those moments of feeling super confident and driven and knock on doors, slamming my face shut. Knock on doors again, more failure. And it made me want to just say, like, gosh, maybe I'm not following the right path. Maybe I'm supposed to be pursuing something else. But then I wanted it. I had such a desire to succeed in these different areas. For example, I love music. So I've always grown up enjoying music, wanted to write it. It's not the easiest industry to penetrate and break into. There's a lot of shut doors in there. So I'm telling you, you think you are so confident and they will take your confidence and smash you to the ground. And you have to pick yourself up and keep going.
We had an aspiring and current musician that left Louisiana at 19, and he's 26 now. He's still in Nashville, still beating the pavement,
yep.
Still writing songs. He was on our podcast, and he's still well deep into the hustle right now, and hasn't had that breakout moment. He's had some little jumps of success, but not that huge breakout moment. But listening to him, he's still in the grind every day. So yeah, that's a hard industry to get into.
Yeah, that whole like enduring mindset is, I think, where a lot of people probably fall short. I was reading over your questionnaire this morning. There is a lot going on in this thing. And I don't necessarily know where to start, man. Like you're a singer, songwriter, you're an author, you're a motivational speaker, you've been to 22 countries, you play like a dozen instruments, You swim in the Amazon. You go skydiving. Like, there's so much stuff here to talk about. And
I really scary, man. I'm not gonna lie. I was so scared.
It's awesome. I love every bit of it. But he kind of touched on it, where like to do all these things are not like normal. I'm gonna say normal people. Normal people don't do this much stuff, right? So where do you get the energy and where do you get the motivation to do like literally everything you want to do? You know?
Come on in, guys. I'll tell you a secret. No, it's actually no secret at all. I'm trying to think of how I can break this down. So yes, we all have dreams and goals, right? And what you were saying, the first thing we do as soon as we wake up in the morning, you want to check social media and you will check the news. It is like your daily reminder of why you need to be afraid and why the world is bad and why, I mean, we're basically about to explode and lose existence. But what I do in order to protect myself from that, I completely shut most everything. I shut the voices out. I am very, very protective when it comes to what I allow in my mind. So I am, like you're saying, it's not normal. No one else in my family is, I don't know anyone else that are in my area, minus a handful of people that are in there just grinding every day. But because I'm determined, like I take my goal, for example, I want a 6-pack. I'm still working towards getting my 6-pack. I love watching cooking shows, talking about being a foodie. It's like, I see the food and I fall and I fail, but I'm not giving up on that goal. I still want to get myself to that healthy position. So what do? I start going and watching YouTube videos on these women, these chicks that are out there with 6-packs and they're running miles and miles. I start feeding my mind what I want. And I completely shut everything else out. I will not watch. I don't watch the news. And most things I don't read online. I completely shut it out and I ignore it. What I do, I get books. So I am a big time researcher, reader. I am not going to lose my focus. You will not do that to me. Because I want something so badly. And I know how hard it is to reach certain goals. I came to a point where it's like I hit rock bottom that I was miserable. I'd wake up and I'm like, gosh, what's the point? Look at the world. It's like every time I turn around, they're telling me to be afraid to pump my gas because somebody's going to steal my purse. I'm afraid to go jogging in the park because somebody might take and snatch me. And so it was like all of these negative things that just kept flooding into my brain. And what did I do? I'd wake up, I'd take that in, and I would say, gosh, what's the point of even trying? I probably should go live off grid and get a compost toilet and go plant carrots, you know? It's like, if this is how bad the world is, like, I don't want to be a part of it. But at the same time, I said, it is a rock bottom moment for me. I felt depressed. It was like I would look at myself, and I'm like, am I even good enough? I've been trying so hard for so long, and nobody else sees my potential. Maybe I'm not good enough. So that mentality was so wrong and so off. And the only thing I could do at that moment was start feeding myself the right things. Because if you're feeding your mind the wrong things, that's all you're going to think about. Your mind expands and it grows on whatever it is that you feed it. So if you're going to feed it negativity, you're going to see, 96% of businesses that start fail. And you start putting that in your brain and you start just negative. When it comes time for you to face your fears, you're going to cower in the corner like a rat. You're going to be so scared. But if you say, nope, I'm completely ignoring. I know bad goes on in the world. I'm not an ostrich with my head stuck in the sand. I know it goes on. I don't want to watch videos of animals getting abused. That will make me cry. I don't want to watch kids getting, bad homes. That makes me cry. I know it exists, but I don't feed that information in my mind. What I feed it is every day I'm waking up. I don't stop. As soon as I wake up, I am not quitting until I'm done. I don't stop. I don't quit. I don't have friends around me. My circle is getting so much smaller because I cannot be distracted with birthday parties all over the place. And I know that probably comes across as so harsh and mean, but I've spent so many years doing it the opposite way, spending my time, wasting my time doing what? Watching TV? I mean, scrolling social media? And what do I have to show for myself? Nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want that life. I want to accomplish massive things, and I want to inspire as many people that come across my path. Like, if I can do it, this little girl that has this type of background, I grew up with nothing. Everything I have today, I worked for it. I did not grow up with a little silver platter. My parents worked just to put food on the table. I paid for my college, worked 3 jobs, and I just said, nobody's going to give it to me. Nobody's going to do this for me. I have to do this for myself. So I make my own doors. I don't let people, I don't wait for them to see opportunities for me or see my greatness or what I can do. I build my own door. I make my own opportunities.
When we started this, that was a huge thing. If you look at statistics, we shouldn't be sitting behind this board right now because it says a lot of people that start podcasts fail.
Yeah, like 85% or 90% or something crazy. I don't know. But it's a lot.
And that's not deterring anything that we do,
Yeah,
because
we block it out.
We believe in the content,
Yeah.
that it's genuine, and we're putting people that are in front of our viewership that are genuine about their hustle
Yes.
and their drive. So that's it. Like you said, we're blocking out that statistic because we're not going to be part of that 85%.
85%?
Yep.
It's a lot. Yeah, I don't know exactly what it is. Jim probably knows
That's
better
amazing.
than we do.
So then you think about how that means that there's 15% that are making it. That's where you determine, like, I
That's
don't
where
care about everybody else, but I'm going to be in the 15%.
Be that 15.
That's right. That's right.
I'm going to be in that 15%. Like, you're not telling me no. There is no, to me, is the tiniest little 2-letter word that stops so many people. They allow that no. Slap your hand, no. But you know what? Look at what you guys are doing today. It's like you are here. You're still standing. You're going to be in that 15%. It's like we're not going anywhere. We're making our declaration and our stand, and we're just going to tell the entire podcast world we're here to stay. So come along with us because we have great content.
You're
want to hang out.
me. Actively motivating me.
I love when we wrote and we asked you, what are you most proud of? And I love that you said, I'm proud of myself and how far you've come. Because I think a lot of people lose track of this is what we have right here that we're in, the skin, the body, the mind. And there's an expiration date on that, right? We don't know how long we're here for. So knowing that you've become proud of yourself and where you're at, that I think that's a huge.
Yeah, I want to go a little further into that too. So you, in that same line, you wrote you're most proud of yourself, and you said, I know that that may sound arrogant. I personally, I hate the fact that as a society in general, we've like demonized being proud of yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
Right.
as a society at large, if somebody walks up to you and says, "Man, look what I've done. I'm very proud of this." It comes off as boastful. It comes off as arrogant,
Prideful.
Yeah.
prideful, and that's
You're tooting your
absolute
own horn.
garbage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
You should be proud of the things that you've done, right? Anybody that's achieved any goals, accomplished any goals, should
goodness.
always be proud of what they've done.
I 100% agree.
When I mention goals, this is just my me extracting from your questionnaire and from the 20 minutes that we've spent talking so far. It seems to me like you are a very goal oriented person. So you set a goal and then you put the blinders on, you achieve that goal. But what I think is most interesting here, and this is what I think probably makes you an actual force to be reckoned with. I don't want to say dangerous. That's the name of your book.
No,
and maybe
right?
that is why. But this is what makes you dangerous, is that you do all these things because you want to. That's it.
That's it.
You know, no one's pushing you to speak 3 languages. You did that because you wanted to. So you set your sight on a goal. You decided that you want it, and you went after it, and you
Right.
just drilled it and drilled it and drilled it until you had it. You wanted to learn how to play flute, drums, guitar.
Woo, yes.
Yeah, none of that's easy, right? I've been playing guitar since I was 15, and I'm terrible at it, right? I sit around campfires and yodel and act like a fool, but
I cannot. I need to see this.
hey, I can do it, bro. I will pick a little something.
Twinkle, twinkle.
Yeah, but it's not good, right?
Okay, that's fine.
So I know how challenging that is.
Can I live stream this?
Yeah, of course. But you're doing these things because you want to do it. and that's it. And that is extraordinarily powerful.
Well,
I think
it's just moving with intent all the time.
It's just make a goal, accomplish it. Make a goal, accomplish it. I mean, that is the pattern to success. I mean, that is it. I mean, I don't know, you win the lottery, you probably squander that, but I know I would, for sure. But it seems like the pattern to success and whatever is just make a goal, work towards it, accomplish it. Make another one, work towards it, accomplishment.
Yes.
And you
have to be like that.
You've hacked that. You've got that figured out. I mean, like I said a while ago, there's so much here, and it's all, I don't want to say, I mean, it's random. It's all a bunch of skydiving, swimming with piranhas. Why? I don't know, because I wanted to, right? Yeah. I absolutely love that.
Since you are so very goal-oriented, talk about the structure of your goals. I mean, are we looking at just very short-term, or are you looking, do you have a wide array of short-term, medium term,
yes,
long-term, and you're kind of working towards those? Are you a list maker?
Yes.
Are you?
Yes, I do. I have different lists. I have massive, such massive goals that I have several that I would never tell the world because I don't want to put it out there, and I cannot have your doubts because it's so big, and I need to keep that for myself because I want to reach that.
Because you're constantly working on them, right?
I'm working on them, yes. But it takes, to me, you have to get rid of your excuses. The biggest reason why we don't achieve our goals is because we are in our own way making our excuses. You can make an excuse and you can give yourself a free pass, right? But if you really want to accomplish, you want to take your podcast, you need to write that on your phone. Like for me, I put my notes everywhere. I'm going to flood my brain so much that my brain cannot think anything outside of what it is that I'm going to do. As soon as your feet step, there is no such thing as stepping or waking up on the wrong side of the bed. You should never have that. We are alive today. We are still breathing. We're not strapped to an IV inside of a hospital. We're not 6 feet under in the ground. We have work to do, and any goal you have is 100% possible. We have to get our little brains to believe it. That's one of the hardest things is getting yourself to believe that it's possible. You see other people succeeding, and you're like, gosh, how are they doing it? If they can do it, we can do it. Anything is possible, and I think if I could share at least that message with the world, that would be
this rings so true to me because so we own another company outside of this podcast. It's a land development company, and Justin had been deployed overseas, and it was right shortly thereafter we started our business. And if you look at my phone right now, it shows every day.
I love it.
And I needed that reminder because we went into this, I'm not going to say tailspin, but we went into this grind, and I was in it, and he was, from afar trying to help me as much as he could, but it was on me at that point. And I needed that daily reminder every day that when I hit that phone, that's what I needed to know where my focus had to be in order for that to succeed. And if that succeeds, my family succeeds. If that succeeds, my business partner succeeds. All those things culminate. So I actually have goosebumps because you said that.
Yeah.
Because it did. I had to put that reminder, something that there was no outside focus. And it wasn't that I didn't want a picture of my wife and kids on my phone, but that was like a huge priority to get things done. And if that was thriving, everything else behind it was thriving too. So I totally understand what you're saying there.
Yep.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of power in like surrounding yourself, and you kind of touched on it, surrounding yourself with your goals and your positivity to align your focus with that, and then just absolutely blocking out everything else. There's a ton that goes on between the ears whenever you do that.
So
and it's challenging, man. It's hard. It's so hard, especially with the access to media and social media and like, we use social media because how we push our podcasts, how we push our land development stuff. But at the same time, like I did it yesterday morning. I mean, I woke up, grabbed my phone, checked the notifications from the podcast, looked through the business stuff, and then just started swiping. And then swiping. And then I realized like, oh, like I got to go. You know what
Yes,
I mean? I'm like
it's
running. I'm
true.
like 5 minutes late now because I've been sitting here mindlessly just.
Oh, that's
Yes.
why you were late.
I'm telling on myself.
It's true, though. I mean, there's science now backing up this social media stuff, how addicting it could be.
Yeah.
And if we were to time ourselves, oh my gosh, how much time do we waste every day when we could be working towards bettering ourselves, bettering our families?
You want to hear something weird? Every week on Sunday, when that little notification comes out and tells me how long that I've been active on my phone.
Yeah, I have mine set up too. I was about to mention that.
So with that, I get happier every time it goes
Down. Yeah.
Yes.
If it goes up, I feel like a piece of crap.
Yes.
Yeah.
If it goes up, I'm
It's true.
like, I am worthless this week.
Oh my God.
I need to get off of my phone and do more stuff.
Bro, what's bad too is that thing will tattle on you because it accumulates time through the whole week. So it'll straight tattle on you. It'll say, like I've seen it before, like your screen time was down 5 hours. This like 5 hours. You know what I could do with 5 hours? I mean,
Right?
that's
Yes.
a lot of time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was down 5 hours, which means however much time I spent on it this week, say I don't know, 10 hours. It was 15 last week. It was stupid. It's a whole day.
Oh, time wasters will kill goals more. It's quick. I think, I respect you gentlemen because I think guys, they have that determination. I think it comes natural for you. You're just that go-getter. For girls and women, I think that with the way that we grew up, I don't think women think that they might have the drive as much as like a guy, right? But women tend to lose themselves throughout the day. They will spend a lot of time watching TV, then they're going to go on social media and scroll, maybe they'll watch YouTube videos, and then they're going to walk away feeling horrible because, I'm not living in a Kim Kardashian mansion, like looking at your spouse, like, what's wrong with you? Why can't you give me this nice car? Why can't,
Right.
where's my clothes? Like, I'm wearing this twice and she's not wearing her outfits twice. And I think for women, if we can all just band together and get rid of the distractions, major screen time, because it's easy. You start scrolling, and that's exactly what happened to me years ago. It was just scroll, and I was like, oh my goodness.
man,
I just
wasting all the
spent
time.
2 hours. Like, it didn't even feel like 2 hours. And then I'm sitting here looking like, well, they went to the beach in Destin, and I'm looking at myself like, I want to go to the beach in Destin. So you end up wanting to compare yourself with people around you, and then you feel horrible because you're not driving the Bentley or the whatever and having these clothes. So I think for women, man, I wish that we could just wake up, get focused, not just look at materialistic things, because that stuff fades. I mean, come on, we're not taking anything with us at the end of the day, but we will take our families, and we have memories, and those things matter. So my goals when it comes to my family, I want them to reach the heights. So what can I do to be the right person so that when I'm going to be a rock for them. I want to be a rock for you. And for this podcast, like, you are having a down day, I don't want to have you text me and say like, gosh, I'm going through a horrible day and like, here's a meme. No, I'm going to tell you like, get your butt up, go wash your face in the bathroom, go cry if you need to, but you're going to get up and you got to go in there and grind again. No excuses. Get that out of your head. Time to go to work.
Yes. So I am, some people I guess they might voice, they might not. I am fully on the female empowerment train. My daughter's 12. We speak mindset nightly when she's home with me. I have her full time, but when she's home with me, when we go to bed at night, I ask her, I said, what is something you did good today? What is something that you needed improvement on? And what is something you did good for someone else? I ask her that every night she's home before she goes to bed. And it's something to trigger her day.
Yes.
Where she was positive, where she could have improved, and something that she did good for someone else. And I'm constantly talking about mindset and really trying to, and I do tell her, because she'll talk about it. She's 12, I want a nice Jeep, and I want this, and when I get older, and I want to go to college, and I'm like, if you take up as much knowledge as you can in the things that you want to do in life, and as much as you can in its entirety, and then focus your energy on the things that you want to do.
Absolutely.
You'll be a force to be reckoned with in the world.
Yes.
I do it all the time, and I have 2 boys now that I'm going to teach them the same thing. But I almost feel, like you said, a male's usually rough and tough, and they're more aggressive in that. I'm trying to teach my daughter, like, you can't sit in the background. Like,
right.
you got to be out there in the forefront, because you might be going against that guy for that job. And you need to show why that you are the candidate, not an option. Like,
right.
you're the candidate for that job. So I totally get that.
Because you spend so much time setting goals, as I was digging through your questionnaire, this stuck out to me. And it was actually, I wrote down something to touch on about goals a little bit later than, or I guess earlier than I realized how goal-oriented you were. Because I think you're very good at setting goals, and I can see that, goals are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-bound, whatever, smart goals. I noticed, we asked you about your definition of success. You went on a little spiel and you said you wanted to impact at least 1,000 people.
Yes.
That's a very specific goal.
Right.
So I want you to help us out and help our listeners and viewers out about how you set goals. Like, do you set big, broad, long-term goals, and then as they get closer, you narrow them down to something very specific and measurable? Can you talk through that, like, goal setting process a little bit, or is it just something you just do?
No, I think I've learned. I'm kind of getting better at it, because I did not set goals or write anything down when I first started in my younger years. This is just something I read a book about, and says you need to write it down. You have an 85% higher chance of having your goals come to pass if you write it down physically and your brain sees you writing it down, versus you just say, oh, I'm going to do this, and then you just move on with life. So I said, well, I'm going to put that to the test. And so I just started writing down. I think I had over 114 goals whenever I started. I just started one after the other. And I'm telling you, it was silly things like, I want a clay pot set, because I saw these cooking shows and they're cooking on clay pots. And I was like, that's so cool. I would put that as a goal of mine. I'm not just going to go blow all my money. I'm going to set my goals. What do I want? Oh, it was like clay pots. I want to get a 6-pack. Still working on it. I'm getting there. But still, those goals are going to take me a lot longer than going on Amazon and shopping for a clay pot set. So I write everything down. I'll take no more than 5 out of my master list, because I don't want to overwhelm myself. I'm going to put those on my phone. So this is my goals. When I go and open up my phone, those 5 things are right there in my face. Those are the ones that I'm going after first. I will pull more as I check them off. And the funny thing is, the more you check off, the more you're like, well, I don't want my list to get smaller. So you'll just want to keep adding even more goals. I want to travel to France and Italy and Greece, right? So I have those on my goals. I haven't checked those off yet. Love to travel, but I will pull those out when I say, okay, this year I'm going to travel to Greece.
She beats your lists by
Oh yeah, that takes the list to the next level. What about what's your advice on, like, decomposing goals? So I've heard of this as a strategy to help people achieve their goals, right? So let's use your 6-pack as an example.
Sure.
So I want to get a 6-pack.
Right.
That's a pretty broad, not very specific goal.
Right.
You can decompose that and say, I want to work out 3 times a week. And you can decompose that a little bit further and say, I want to commit one of my 3 workouts every week to abs.
Right.
So is that a strategy that you use consciously, or does
No.
It's not something you do consciously?
No, honestly, simple is better for me. I think that the more complicated and the more, I don't know anybody that can break down a goal that specific and you just keep going. I like to keep it simple. Like, keep it simple. And what I do is I just look at it, and like I said, I completely block everything out. So I'm looking at my list of what I want to accomplish. One of the goals I'll tell you that is on my list right now is I have to paint 100 original paintings inspired by my musical, because I'm going to auction them off at the theater so that I could have a budget to buy costumes and pay directors and music and instrumentalists and all that. I am steadily working towards that. I have 5 paintings now. I still have 95 to go. So I have my goals on my list. So I have musical paintings. I'll have that written down. I don't break it down like, this week I have to paint 5 paintings. I just look at it, and the more my brain sees like this, because I'm task driven. I like to check it off. I like to write down my stuff, and if I do something extra, I'll just go write it just to have that good feeling of checking it off. But you take your goal, and you stare at it because your brain needs to see that, and you need to put that on your to-do list. That's really what I do, is I put on my to-do list. So I'm writing a musical and I have to paint 100 paintings. That's on my list, and I have other things as well. But when I wake up on Monday, I pull out my phone and I'll read over the whole thing. So I'm like, okay, I have to continue working on this, this, and this. I take that, and then I will actually plug it into my calendar. So I don't get complex with it. I need to keep it simple for me because I have a lot going on. So I'll just say, all right, I'm going to paint today, and this afternoon I actually have a 3-hour gap. I'm going to use that time to go ahead and go towards the paintings, or I'll write it towards the musical, or it's like I have those specific strategies, but I don't stress out. I think if you overcomplicate your goals and you're trying to break it down so specifically, it's like, come on, we're not corporate America when it comes to our personal lives. Like, we need to keep it simple to where you look at it and it's pleasant. You want to do it. That's fun.
So I really, really appreciate and enjoy that perspective because it's totally different from how I operate in my life. Chase mentioned that I make lists, but I decompose goals into very small, digestible, bite-sized chunks. And I consider that like culminating wins, right? And it works for some people. But what I really like about your perspective is that you write the big goal. Bam. Oops. You write the big goal up top, right? And you just stare at it and let it stare back at you. And
you know what to do.
Yeah. And you're like, okay, that's what I'm working towards. See, for me, that doesn't work. If I say I want a six-pack, I gotta, like, at that point, I guess it's just the way that my brain processes information or what.
Check off list, master plan under it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's like indented check boxes. So it'll be like, get a six-pack, work out 3 times a week, dedicate 1 to abs every week. You know what I mean? And then every week as I'm going off, I can look back at the end of the week, and it's how I measure if I'm making progress towards that goal. So, and that's how I've always been like.
Well, hold on. Do you have a six-pack?
Yeah. Okay. Way better than yours.
Yeah, that's okay. But it works then.
Yeah. I mean, it took me like going and sweating to death in the desert for a year to get it. I don't know if you remember whenever I left, that was pretty heavy. But I mean, that's how I think whenever you go through classes that talk about the military does a lot of goal setting,
of course,
exercises and things like that. And I took a bunch in college and stuff, but I guess it's just how I've been trained to attack goals, was to look at them, understand what the overarching concept was, and then break it down into digestible, very specific, very measurable steps, and then go after it that way. But I think there's a lot of value in
hers seems it's something.
Yeah, painting it on the wall.
She's subconsciously already knowing where it needs to go without breaking it down.
Yeah, and that really makes it a lot less complicated too, because then you're able to kind of prioritize and shift things around and put your focus on what's the most important right now. So that's
a viewer in the future just text me and ask the looming question: when do you sleep, Rachel?
When do I sleep?
When do you sleep?
Yeah, well, no, I don't think my schedule is that abnormal. So just to finish off with the goals, I do believe in setting the deadline, right? I don't believe you just put a goal and then you just keep it there. By the end of the year, I am going to have, or so help me, I'm going to have this stuff done. And so I am self-driven in that sense. As far as my sleeping schedule goes, and the last couple of months has been very inconsistent because, you're going to work hard. Let's say, for example, all of a sudden you get these you worked really hard with your podcast, and now people are just calling you left and right. Heck, you will sleep next month if you have to, but you're
going to... You're dead.
I know. But you're going to jump on the opportunities. So I worked my behind off to get to where I'm at today, so I'm not going to just take it easy.
Right.
I worked to get here, and so as the opportunities come, it's like, no, I'm going to show up on time. If I say something better be seriously wrong for me not to show up. If I say I'm going to do something, that's it. You keep your word. You just go for it. Sleeping, you can catch up with sleep later. And if you really get groggy, go ahead and take a moment to sleep and catch up.
We were talking about goals, and it's something that's kind of, it's almost been a theme for me internally, taking all this in with our guests. On the goal setting side, is it more of the feeling, or is it the actual end goal of the checkoff? Is it more internal or external in completion of those goals?
When I check a goal off, you mean?
Yeah, just because, or your definition of like success in a sense, goals, success, checking it off. Like, is it more that internal feeling that you get? Because I feel a lot of people have lately that we've talked to. It's more of an internal feeling than an actual like reaching, like actually walking across it and getting the trophy. It's more of the internal satisfaction that I did it. How would you? I just, it's a question I've been wanting to ask more and more people because it's I guess it's how you think and what side of the brain.
Yeah, it's been pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I could just give 2 examples real quickly. I wanted my book to get into Forbes magazine, or when that there was a chance, I wanted that for me because I knew that I had worked so hard and I was a nobody compared to all these big time people. So when I saw that opportunity, I was like, I'm gonna put that on my goal. And I almost didn't get it because they're like, who is this girl? And they're like, who are you? And I was not going to get my book published in this Forbes article, but I was like, you know what? I'm not taking no for an answer. Now that I know that there's a chance, now I know what I can do. My book is getting in that magazine. It's getting in there, and I don't care how long it takes, but that's going to be a goal. So as I'm going through the process, it was stressful because I was not going to announce that to the world, because if I would have announced it and I was like, never mind, guys, like I thought I was going to get it and I didn't get it. So I just kept it to myself, but that I kept grinding. Like I just kept reaching out and they're like, no, the answer is no. Like, who are you? No. But then I was like, I'm going to get my book. That is now a goal. I'm not going past this next week. I'm going to get an answer. And that's exactly what happened. I think when I became determined to say, I'm going to do this, and I actually did it. And then once that feeling came, like, holy moly, I just like, this happened. And now the rest is history. Second thing, when I graduated college, I wanted to be the student speaker for my graduating class. I don't know why I had that goal in mind, but it's like, I want that. So 2 years before I ever graduated, I wrote my entire speech that I was going to give at the commencement ceremony. I saved it in a private folder in my email box, and I just kept it to myself. But as I was going through those exams and crying on those finance classes that were brutal, and I had to take vitamins just to regrow my hair back after taking them, I would go back and I would look at that folder like, come on. If you finish college, there's no way they're going to let you walk if you don't finish your college. You have to finish. So I would just look at it. And as I remember, I'll never forget it when that email came across my inbox and they're like, it's open, right? Whoever wants to go after this position, you can go after it. And I remember taking a deep breath. I pulled that thing out of my inbox and I was like, send. And then it went silent, like dead silent. I was like, gosh, I guess I didn't get it. But then I got this little ping of an email saying, hey, you're going to the next round. You've been selected to go to the next round. Now we want you to do a interview in front of a camera and send that to this email by this deadline. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I was like, what's the most professional shirt I have in my closet? I'm going to put that sucker on. I'm going to just smile and be on camera, and I'm going to just do my best. So I did, and then it went silent again. It was like maybe a month, 6 weeks later. And I was like, gosh, I guess they must have picked somebody else. And then nope, there was a phone call. It says, you are there's 3 people that are going after this position and you're one of them. So we want you to now do a live interview in front of this panel of people. And I remember I had like butterflies in my stomach at that point. I was like, oh my gosh, like what are they going to ask me? But I just got into that mode. I was like, I really want that position. I really want to speak at my graduating class. So I took a deep breath, and I'm not going to lie, I faked it till I made it. Like, that was that moment. I was like, I'm going to act like everything's all right. Yeah, I'm kidding. It's cool. No problem. But I was sweating beads, like running down my legs. My hands were sweating. My heart was pounding. But I went through the interview, and then all of a sudden it was like I got that email. You have been selected to be the student speaker at your graduating class. We're paying for your airplane ticket. Boom, done. I sat down in my chair and I just like, I took a deep breath. I was like pinching myself, like, did this really happen? Like, did I really get this position? And then I had that thought, maybe I was the only person that applied for this position. And that's why they gave it to me, because people are scared to public speak, and maybe I'm the only one. And come to find out, when I went there, I was like, hey, was I the only person that applied for this position? And they're like, no, Rachel, there was over 50 candidates across the nation that went after this position, but you stood out, and so we picked you, and here you are. And I was like, what? So that's the importance of goal setting. See, you have to get the idea in your mind. You have to convince yourself, like, it's mine. That position is mine. There's plenty of opportunities for the entire world, but that particular one, I'm going to go after that one, and it's mine. And if they wouldn't have given it to me, I probably would have dressed up with my gown and cap, and I probably would have mocked my own graduation. Like, I would make my own speech over here in front of YouTube. I was like, I'm going to do this.
I was going to ask what she would have done if it would have been a rejection or failure,
Yeah.
And she just answered it already.
There would have been a fire at graduation. It would have been a tragedy.
Yeah, but that's how it is. You have to take your goals, and goals are hard. It's not easy to accomplish goals. I think we want things to be easy. It's natural. We don't want to have to sweat 50 hours for this and that. We want it to come easy, but the things that are worth it in life, that are truly the most impactful things, are the ones that we have to work for and sweat for the most. Those things, those goals become almost like your destiny. You feel compelled that you have to accomplish them. And that's how it is. You just take your goals. I'm a big, like you guys see, I want to see people accomplish what they want in life. It makes them feel so excited and happy. You need to be excited to get out of bed. You should not be depressed. You should not be distracted by all kinds of craziness going on. No, you need to be focused. What do you want? Do you want $50 million by the time you finish your portfolio at the end of life? Let's do it. What do we have to do to get there? Give me the right people that want that. How can I help you get to the next level? How can we help each other? How can we do this? I want to get around those people. I want to accomplish big things.
I think that's a huge thing to take away, is that surrounding cast.
Yeah, it's huge.
And I also think it is, too, is that I think people are less likely nowadays, because I feel like there is this sense of selfishness that's been kind of cast out into the world lately, too. But helping the next person out, mentoring. I've had people call me directly and ask, not about podcasting, but ask me about our other business, and ask for some pointers, or, hey, I have this. And some people would be inclined to say, hell no, you're basically, I'm training up my competition to come up on the backside. Look, there's enough food on the table for everybody to eat.
That's right.
And I've not shied away from that. And anybody, even our listeners some of our listeners can probably attest to that I've had many phone calls and emails just asking, hey, what do I do with this? And I'm not like trying to hide any secrets. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to give you my whole breakdown of portfolio of everything I've done, but I'm going to say, hey, look, this is where you need to start. Here's the literature you probably need to read. Here's some things you need to look at.
Yeah.
I literally gave a class on that 2 weeks ago. Remember I told you I went to that instructor development course for the Guard?
That's awesome.
Yeah, I had to go to, I went to it's called the common, I forget what it's called. It's an instructor course, basically teaching you how to teach, right? And we had to give a mock class, and I did my class on real estate investing, 3 strategies to raise capital to invest in real estate.
Nice.
To the whole class. So everything that we learned, I was like, hey, I'm going to just go do this.
So now there's going to be 30 new investors out in the world?
Yeah. They asked me to come back and after I did my little formal presentation, they were like, hey, can you go into some more depth about that? So the next day I had to go back and
that's funny.
We did a group facilitation. That was another graded event, was a facilitation. So I just did mine. I did a facilitation on investing in real estate.
That's awesome, man. I could sit here and talk to you for the next hour just about the that mindset, because
Yeah.
gosh, it bugs me when I see people. It's like, stop thinking that it's so scarce and that there isn't enough to go around for all of us. There is so much out there. I could listen to this podcast, but I need your podcast because it's going to get old. Like, we need more people doing these things. We need your voice out there.
That's what I feel like. That's where our lane is at on this too, is that, you know, you're an accomplished author. You write musicals. Like you said, Justin says, you have so many things happening in life.
The whole bread basket.
But with that, you know, we've earlier we were talking about we have a restaurateur coming in, and yesterday we had an interior designer.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
the content for this it's limitless, and I love just learning all the new perspectives of how this works and how people's brains.
Everyone is so unique. Every episode is so unique. There's common trends, right?
Yeah.
But every episode is so unique.
Yeah, she said it earlier in the podcast. We're all cut from this similar fabric.
That's right.
It looks different on all of us, but we all have that woven fabric that is all, it has those internal characteristics that are all the same, but we all look a little different. We all came from a little bit different origins. But yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. When, you know, we asked you about tell yourself at 16, what would it be and why? And you said, don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah.
And start to learn about studying, finances, and time management. I couldn't agree with this more, because I feel like our younger generation is not focused on a lot of those things. And I think that they need to be. I'm trying to teach my daughter's my oldest child, so I'm trying to teach her. She's 12. She has a bank account. We talk about money. We talk about finance. We talk about time management and why it's so important. So, I know you're doing motivation. Are you teaching? Are you trying to teach that younger wave of entrepreneurs and free thinkers to put that in their toolbox early?
Yes. So I am working on that now. I'm working on putting a class together. And it's just going to be a little workshop. And my target market is going to be the younger girls, because they are at that age. If I catch them now and I can set them up for success, as far as set your goals early, don't get distracted by all these things. Don't be overcome by the opinions of your peers. Like, that's a waste of your time. Just focus. What do you want in life, and how can I help you? Here are the secrets. This is what I've learned to do. You want to talk about money? I probably was the most clueless woman on the planet at one point. I bounced my debit card, my checking account, on a packet of bubble gum at a Shell gas station when I was, I think, 16 years old.
I've done that.
Clueless, did not know how to balance a checkbook. I had to learn the hard way. And
so that was a
$35 pack of gum.
That's what I was about to say. It was a $35 pack of gum.
Oh, it was $240 worth of overdraft fees. By the time all those swipes came through, I was like, I remember, I'll never forget that lesson. Mom was like, what is wrong with you? It's like, how did you not know that this isn't a credit card? I was like, I don't know. I went to public school, okay? They didn't teach us none of this stuff. So I had to learn. That's the thing. You go to school, and most of what this group of people in this room, what we need to succeed in life, you have to learn it outside of public school. You're not going to learn communication.
Yeah.
You're not going to learn finances, real estate investing, or you're not going to learn any of that stuff. You have to do it on your own. You have to teach yourself and just get the right books, get the right resources.
Or mentorships.
Mentorships, that's right.
And I think, honestly, you're listening and now getting to learn your story. You would be somebody high on my list as a mentor for a young, aspiring, and maybe someone that's just trying to navigate and find their craft or field or mindset for, like you said, that 15-year-old, 16-year-old that's going to be, trying to find their way into college and then find that path too. You would be high on my list on someone. I would definitely put my daughter in one of your classes.
Yeah, you'd be high on my list to like give somebody a kick in the pants. You know what I mean? Like that's the vibe I'm getting. I don't mean that in a bad way.
No,
like,
I agree.
If somebody needs
it's in the most genuine, great way.
If somebody needs like a snap back to reality, like, hey, pop your head out your rear end and get back to work, I'm calling you. Yeah, I might call you on
You
my
guys
own.
can call me. That's it. That's it.
Like when I'm
here.
feeling down or whatever, I'm just call
I'm
Rachel.
telling you. I
Yeah,
know.
just call
Call
Rachel.
me. I'm there. I'm 100% there. Yeah, we need each other, and I think any dream is what you can see. There's no way you can accomplish anything massive by yourself. You
No.
need a team. You
Yes.
need
But-
it.
so if you go back and listen to the first episode, we call it episode 0, we talk about the importance, and this whole show was based off of the importance of having mentors. So the name of the show, Hustle Makes It Happen, was something that a mentor told me whenever I was like 17, when I was in high school. And I still remember today how impactful and how much of an influence that mentor had on me. So you cannot downplay how important it is
Right.
to have a group of people that have gone before you, or a group of people that are going through things with you that might have a little bit more experience, and you can latch onto them and learn from them. That is the entire, I'm not making it up. Go listen to episode 0. That's why we made the show.
That's
Was
awesome.
to
Absolutely.
get people like you in front of the world and let them learn from some of the things some of the pieces of advice that you have to give. You know what I mean? And that goes for all of our guests. Like, everyone's so unique, but they're all successful. It's the trait that they share. They're all successful in their little world. Everybody got there differently. Everybody has something to offer. Everybody has something they can learn from somebody else.
Right.
Yeah, with that, Rachel, I'd love our listeners alike, just plug yourself. Tell them where they can find you and your content, web pages and books, and just give yourself a plug. Tell our
Sure.
listeners where they're at.
Yeah. Well, so you can find my book on Amazon right now. I'm sold out now, so I have to go ahead and order another batch. But you can go ahead and order my book through Amazon. It's called Dangerous: When a Woman Becomes Fearless, and it's very inspirational, motivational. So there's that. You can find me on Facebook, Rachel Davidson. I have my book in the background when I did a radio. It's one of those. You'll see. And then I also have Instagram, TikTok, and then I have a website where I'm building, and that's where I'll put all my music and all of the fun information.
What's up with the musical? When does that hit the platform, the stage?
I'm so excited. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm volunteering at Ascension Community Theater, trying to learn how to write my musical. I have the idea in my head, but the first time I went in and I saw a play, I realized that my musical was just not functional. The costumes that I had pictured is like, this is going to take forever. So having to learn, I'm learning right now, but I've already written 3 original compositions for the song. I'm already working another one, and then I have the story. And then once that's done, we're going to the studio, we're recording parts, I'm getting choirs. Like, the people are coming into my life, and that's one thing. Just keep doing what you're doing, because people are just going to want to be a part of what you're doing, and they're going to come into your life. So
Feed us that information too, please, directly when those things are coming up, or you have a new book, because we want to spotlight all of our past hustlers and their accomplishments as time. Like our first hustler, Mr. Justin King, made it to the CrossFit Games as of last week.
Yep.
So we're going to give him a big shout out next week. We're going to do a little digital graphic design of Mr. King, with his little CrossFit game thing. 'Cause that's a huge accomplishment. It's what he's been working for the last couple years.
love
So
it.
with that, when you're getting more headway and
Yep.
steam, please let us know.
Yep,
Yes.
we're going to plug it and share it on all our channels.
absolutely, that would be a lot of fun to see you all come and watch the musical.
For sure.
Give it.
Thank your
We will be
family.
there.
You do it.
Have a good time.
Rachel, again, thank you so much for joining us. I've learned an incredible amount, not only about you, but about like what you have to offer, and how digging into your mindset has been a really great experience for me. And I'm sure Chase, I'm going to speak for him and say that he shares that sentiment.
I do. Every time I go into this, you have a preconceived thought of where it's going to go, and it always
Never does. Never goes that way.
It
I
always
love it.
exceeds, and I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your mindset, your story to our listeners. I can't wait to share more of your accomplishments as they come up. And Justin, take it away.
That's it. Rachel's been awesome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that's it. That's another episode of Hustle Makes It Happen, the podcast. Remember, until next time, keep your head down, keep your eye on the ball. Hustle makes it happen. But most importantly, have fun. Thanks.